Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Vin, and today I'm talking about my TBR for the second month of Book Trek 2021, where we'll be looking at the Star Trek The Next Generation. So, I have here a couple books I'm definitely going to read, and some books I'm also thinking about reading. For Book Trek, for the month of September, we're focusing on Next Generation. Now, Book Trek 2021 is in a 5-month long event that me and some other great booktubers are participating in. I have some great co-hosts that you'll find linked down in the description. And we are taking each month to look at a different iteration of Star Trek, beginning in August with the original series, and then in September, looking at The Next Generation, in October at Deep Space Nine, November, Voyager, and ending in December with Enterprise. This year for Book Trek, we are not looking at Discovery or Picard, sort of, and I say that for a reason that will become clear in just a little bit, and things like Lower Decks, even the Kelvin timeline. I am certainly hoping that we can do this again next year for Book Trek 2022, and we'll change it up a little bit and be able to look at some of that stuff. But for this year, we're just focusing on those 5 iterations. So in anticipation of that, with The Next Generation, which happens to be my personal favorite iteration of Star Trek, it is the one that kind of got me into the franchise as a whole. It's the one where I kind of feel most at home in. It's the one out of all the series that I would want to personally live in. And all those things factor into why it is my favorite. With the original series coming in a close second. And I do love things about every iteration of Star Trek. Not equally, but I find value in every single one of them. So what I plan on reading, the first thing I'm going to read for the month is this one. Star Trek Next Generation Invasion. The Soldiers of Fear. And this is book 2 of 4. I don't know if that's focusing. This is part of a 4-part series. And I'm reading this on purpose because of the way that we are going through the franchises. Because this is a series where every part takes place in a different iteration of Star Trek. So last month, I read the first Invasion book, which took place during the original series. So part 2 takes place during Next Generation, 80 years later. Part 3 takes place in DS9, Part 4 in Voyager. So I'm taking the opportunity to go through the series, one each month as we cover those different iterations. I did enjoy the first part of this. I thought some of the writing was a little bit rough in that first part. It was by Diane Carey, who also came up with the concept here. But I thought it really hit its stride and had a very interesting foe called the Furies in the second half of that book. So in this one, the Furies are back, and they seem to have new powers. Before, in the first book, the Furies were formidable, but they were not entirely. This was a species that was invading, but really didn't have much experience in invading, and was able to be, of course, as you can imagine, overcome. And this, according to the back at least, they seem to have come back with a vengeance and with the ability to project the fears in people's minds. In the first book, the Furies were seen as alien species, multiple species that make this thing up, that resembled some of our concepts of demons. And it looks like they bring that kind of dark sensibility and innate fears within people into this book. So I look forward to this one. This will be the first one that I read. Now, I said before, Picard is, we're not covering Picard, but this is a kind of an exception. This is almost a cheat, but I honestly don't think it is. Another thing that I definitely want to read next month is Star Trek Picard, The Last Best Hope. This is the first book for the newer Picard series, which I haven't watched yet. I haven't watched Picard yet. By the time second season comes out, I'm sure I'll have watched it. I do plan on actually watching it later on this year, which is one of the reasons I want to get to this book. And I say that it's not quite a cheat because this is the prequel. This is the book that bridges The Next Generation to Star Trek Picard. It's a prequel, and it gives the background into what happened with Picard and the rest of the crew. So, yes, it has the Picard, label on here, but I think it's a little bit more, in certain ways, of a TNG novel. But of course, with some of the more modern Kurtzman sensibilities, I'm sure, put in there. So this is one that I do want to get to, because I do want to watch the series, and I want to read it before I watch the series. So I'm taking the opportunity next month to actually get through this. And again, I think this is a little bit more of a TNG novel, at least as far as a timeline goes, than it is a Picard novel. But we'll see. Some other things I'm thinking about reading. And overall, I've said in past videos, I'm not much of a mood reader. The big exception of that is Star Trek, because I would kind of celebrate summer reading Star Trek each year. So I would, I teach once the school year was over. I would kind of celebrate by, I have a big Star Trek TBR bookcase, not big, it's a couple shelves, but it's filled with books, and I would just kind of see whichever one, I felt like reading at that moment. I would grab it and I would start reading it. And I still want to leave myself those options open. So the ones I'm going to show are ones that I might get to, I probably will get to, but I may change my mind, might find other things, we'll see. So one of the first things that I'm thinking about is All Good Things. This is the novelization of the series finale, which I think was a very, very good, an incredible season finale that ended those 7 original seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I really enjoyed it. I have no problem. For most things, I don't read novelizations of for things that are on the screen. Star Trek is one of the things I kind of make an exception for. Sometimes it's nice to relive them. Sometimes they add extra tidbits in there that weren't inside the, the actual filming. So this is one that I'm thinking about. And Michael Jan Friedman, I've read other Trek books by him, and some of them I really like, some of them I've been kind of iffy on, but he has enough goodwill with me that I'm definitely willing to give this a try. So this is a possibility, maybe the novelization of All Good Things. I'm also thinking of Ship of the Line by Diane Carey. And this is the this was the episode where you see Kelsey Grammer. I'm trying to remember the name of that episode. I'm blanking on it for a moment here. I don't think it says it in here, does it? But essentially, he was from a previous starship, years ago in the Federation, that got caught in a time loop, and didn't know he was in a time loop. And of course, the Enterprise D gets him out of the time loop, and for some reason, which I'm not sure exactly why they would do this, but when the Enterprise D is destroyed in Star Trek Generations, we see in First Contact that there is an Enterprise E, and Federation allows him to take the kind of maiden voyage on the Enterprise E. So, I do actually really like the design of the Enterprise E, so I'm kind of interested to see where Diane Carey takes this. Diane Carey, like I said, she wrote that the first installment of Invasion, and some of the writing I didn't like in the beginning, but I ended up liking the second half quite a bit. And I've read another book by her, original series, Final Frontier, which I enjoyed overall. So I'm interested to see what she does with this. So this is definitely a possibility. And the last one I'll just show that's a possibility. I do like picking up these and reading these numbered novels. This one is number 13. This one is Eyes of the Beholders. And I just kind of like that Andorian girl on the cover. Always intrigued me. I'll just read the back of this one because it's really short. It says, after several Federation and Klingon ships disappear while traveling a newly opened trade route, the Enterprise is sent to investigate. Their quest leads Captain Picard and his crew to an eerie space graveyard full of ships of every size and description, all of them dead in space. At the center of the graveyard lies a huge, incredibly powerful artifact constructed by an ancient alien race. And as the crew struggles to solve the mystery of the artifact, they unwittingly trigger its awesome power, a power that threatens insanity and death to all aboard the Starship Enterprise. So, you know, people may be going insane, big ship graveyard, that stuff all sounds pretty nice to me. And these number novels are always, I mean, I've read some that are just awful. There's a lot that I definitely passed on that I have not kept. A few of them I've liked, and that I've held on to, and I'll make a video showing some of that. But these are really they're more like episodes. They take place within the 7 seasons of TNG. You really have to restore the status quo by the end of this, so it kind of plays like an episode. And sometimes, you know, you get unimaginative authors who, you know, it feels like an episode with all the budgets of a television series. And I've even read one that kind of felt like a bottle episode, which didn't make sense to me for a novel. But sometimes these authors push things and they give you things that you couldn't have seen on the screen, and they're really impressive. So I'm always willing to check these out, and they're usually pretty quick reads. So yeah, this is one of the ones that I'm thinking about for that. So that's, you know, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm definitely going to read Invasion. I definitely plan to read The Last Best Hope. And these other 3 in the middle are possibilities, but then again, I might grab something else as well. But if you are participating in Book Trek, I'd love to hear what you plan on reading. I will be creating a Voxer group for the next generation. If you want to participate in Book Trek and join that, please, I have my information down below inside the description. Just contact me on Voxer and I'll add you to the group. Yeah, I look forward to next month and getting back into Next Generation. All right. Thank you, BookTube.